again. Welcome back to Real Shame, a show where the two of us talk about our list of movie blind spots. My name is Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And this week we're coming at you with some football movies right around Super Bowl time.
If the Super Bowl's still happening. I think it is, right?
Yeah. When is this airing, before or after the Super Bowl, though? Did we check that?
I think it's before.
I don't know. Well, anyway,
football movies.
Right around, it either happened or it's about to happen. We don't look at when these things are going to air, but we knew it was going to air around this time. Anyway, so football movies this week.
That's right.
Starting with the football movie, which one are we talking about? Yeah, I haven't seen it. Which one is that?
It's Rudy.
But before we chant too much about Rudy, we always like to start off Monday's episode with what we've been watching lately. So, Mr. Adam, what have you been watching besides Rudy? What have you been watching lately?
Rudy. So I think I mentioned a while back that Kirby and I were watching The Crown, and we finished The Crown.
Oh, okay.
I will say that I like season 3 and 4 a lot better than the first two seasons. It seems to break out of that mold that I was having an issue with in the first couple of seasons. So I was pretty happy with it. In the latter seasons. So we finished that. I was going to ask you, do you ever think about what you're watching and how you're going to, and if you're going to talk about it on the podcast or the show?
Yeah. Because
I watched 2 movies that I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be watching these because I've already watched them, and maybe I should watch something more interesting for the show. But these are movies that Kirby really wanted to watch, and they're movies I've seen already a couple times. But we did anyway. So we went on like a musical kick. We rewatched Eurovision.
So this is number 3 for you?
This is number 3 for me.
Wow. This is still 0 for me. We probably will stay that way.
we listened to the music in the car, and it just like, they were like, we might as well watch it. Like the songs are really catchy. They what do the kids say? They really I don't know what the kids say. They're on fire. They fire.
They're straight fire.
They're straight fire.
Okay.
They bop, I think is what kids say.
They bop. They slap.
They slap. So we watched Eurovision. Still like it. At this point, we're not really watching it. We're kind of doing other things, and we kind of have it on the background. And in addition to that, we watched The Greatest Showman, which, it's good. There's some of the CGI is distracting and all that stuff. The music is, I like The Greatest Showman. The music is mixed really, really weird. Like the vocals are so low. Like it is mastered in the most unusual way. I feel like it's a mistake in the way it's mastered, and no one's caught it. It's mastered in like a Christopher Nolan way, where the music, the backtrack is louder than the actual vocals, and you have to like turn it up really loud whenever you listen to it because you can't hear people singing. It's really, really weird. Huh. And no one's talked about that I've seen. So I don't.
Maybe something is off with your hearing.
Maybe. Yeah, that's what it is. The other thing is I started rewatching Community. I really liked Community when it came out. I was one of the few people that actually liked the first season a whole lot. But I know a lot of people like the later seasons. This is Dan Harmon's show. He would go on to do Rick and Morty. There's a famous podcast called Harmontown. This was, he started out doing a Channel 101, I think was his online streaming thing he did with like Rob Schaub and all that kind of stuff. It's a very like meta show, and a lot of people like it because of its meta-ness. Like, they have like a fistful of paintballs is the name of the episode, and like a few paintballs more, and like they kind of take tropes from different movies and incorporate it into it. And also the Russo brothers directed a bunch of these episodes before they became the Russo brothers. They also directed stuff before, like they directed Arrested Development, all that kind of stuff. But you kind of have like this mixture of all these kind of talent in this TV show kind of working and doing this thing. So I watched it, I think a season before. So I watched it up to season 3, maybe season 4. I think season 5, they got rid of Dan Harmon, and they replaced him with 2 new showrunners. And then they canceled the show after season 5, and then Yahoo picked it up for season 6 and put Dan Harmon back in and to finish it. And they always had this big campaign of 6 seasons and a movie, so we're waiting for the movie of Community to come out. So there's a lot of stuff behind it. And this came out at a time when I was wanting to be a sitcom writer. So I was watching a bunch of sitcoms and trying to, work on my scripts and try to kind of keep up with that. So it kind of hit me at that right time and stuff like that. So I'm going back and watching it, and that's why I know a lot about it. I'm going back and watching it, and I've made it through the first season, and I'm going to try to make it through all the seasons right now. So that's Community. And that's what I've been watching. What have you been watching, Andy?
Once again, I feel like I didn't watch that much, but I did watch enough to mention 3 movies. I watched Underwater, which is the Kristen Stewart
I heard it was
movie that
good.
takes place underwater. And it also has, what's his name, TJ Miller?
Oh, with the curly hair?
Yes, yeah. And I don't remember who the other people's names that are in it, but the important person is Kristen Stewart. She's the Ripley of this movie.
Is she underwater?
She is underwater. It's funny enough, this entire movie takes place underwater.
Oh man!
And I was like, God, they really did good coming up with that title.
It's a very accurate title.
Well, so from what I understand, this movie was made, I think, a few years before it was actually released. So that's never really a good sign.
No, New Mutants. Anyone?
Yeah. But so I had pretty low expectations, and I will say this: it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Overall, it held my interest. It's very kind of claustrophobic. I mean, the movie starts off immediately with disaster, and the rest of the movie is them trying to kind of get to safety and get away from some creatures and stuff or whatever that are coming out. I mean, because it's a horror, it's a creature movie. That's not a spoiler. But they're basically just trying to get away from that stuff. The CGI is a little iffy, but that seems to be the norm these days. There seems to be a lot of iffy CGI in movies.
There's been some articles that said like Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 has been like the peak of CGI, and ever since then they've kind of fallen back. Like when they did the digital stunt doubles in Spider-Man 2, that pushed it, and then everything else has not been there. I mean, you can argue Thanos and stuff, but yeah.
They may have a point.
I do think with budgets getting tighter and all that stuff, and then farming it around, CGI has not been. There's a lot of really bad CGI that makes it into final movies for sure.
Yeah. There's just a lot of ways through budgets, or too many people working on it, or just too much CGI to freaking realistically finish and make look good before the movie has to hit its release date. There's so many ways that it can go wrong, and I think it does. I mean, even in movies. Big budget movies that you would expect would have like flawless CGI. You're like, oh my God, that looks terrible.
Transformers.
But I mean, this movie again. I think I watched it on HBO Max. So if you have HBO Max, I mean, it's okay. It's not terrible.
Yeah,
it's damning with faint praise, but it's not terrible. It was watchable. TJ Miller gets on my nerves, but yeah. Anyway, I watched a movie called Save Yourselves, which is an alien invasion movie. But in this movie, the aliens basically look like Tribbles from the Trouble with Tribbles or whatever, the
like little
Star Trek,
things?
little furry things. This movie was boring. It's basically about 2 kind of hipster people, I guess, that decide to go away to a cabin for like a week to kind of get away from technology. So they take their phones with them, but they like turn their phones off, and that's right when an alien invasion hits. I think that's a great setup for a movie, but unfortunately I felt like the execution was just snooze fest. Like it was really boring. The ending is very strange and just was not very good.
So save yourself from watching this movie.
Yes. There you go. But save yourself. And then finally, I watched another sports movie to kind of go in line with the sports movies we're watching this week. Although this movie is not a football movie, it is a basketball movie, and it stars Ben Affleck. Came out last year. It's called The Way Back.
The drunk Affleck movie.
It came out last year.
I think it had like middling reviews.
Yeah, it's not bad, honestly. It's depressing as all get out. I mean, it is. But I feel like they did enough kind of unconventional things with the movie that I thought it was pretty decent, actually. Ben Affleck's pretty good in it. Although I don't know how much acting he was doing.
I like Ben Affleck as an actor. When you say depressing, it makes me think of the Casey Affleck movie. What was the
Manchester by the
Sea?
Yeah.
Or Ghost Story. Both of those are pretty depressing.
Yeah, well, A Ghost Story was depressing to me just to watch the damn thing. Watch Rooney Mara eat a pie for 20 minutes. But no, I thought the way back. I mean, but yeah, the way back is depressing. I mean, it really is. But at the end, I mean, I'm not spoiling the end. In the end, I guess the end result is the movie does kind of have a message of hope, but it's just know what you're getting into when you watch it. It's not like kind of sports movie. You're like, oh god, this guy's life is a mess.
It's not Rudy.
it's not Rudy. No, there's no happy ending like that. But anyway, that's what I've been watching.
All right.
So, yeah.
Well, speaking of sports, let's go into 1993's Rudy.
Good. Whoa, wait. Where are you going?
I'm going to see Notre Dame.
Do you have some friends in South Bend?
No.
Well, then there must be some other reason.
When you read the announcement in class, I thought you said anybody could go.
I'm sorry, Rudy. This bus is for students who are interested in attending the university. It's not a sightseeing tour.
Well, maybe someday I could go to school there.
Father Joseph, would you take over for me?
Of course.
Thank you. Rudy, you don't have the grades for Joliet Community, much less Notre Dame. The secret to happiness in this life is to be grateful for the gifts the good Lord has bestowed upon us. Rudy, not everyone is meant to go to college.
All right, Rudy came out in 1993. It's written by Angelo Pizzo, and it's directed by David Anspog, I think.
And Spa, maybe.
Anspog. All Rudy ever wanted to do was play football for Notre Dame, even though he doesn't have the grades or the stature to do it. But through hard work and determination, he's able to make the team. This is based on a true story of Daniel E. Ruettiger. He was 5'6" and 165 pounds, so he was kind of a short guy. And he played football for Notre Dame from 74 to 76. And he's the first ever player to be carried off the football field. And they tell you that in the movie. It's a movie that I've seen, but Andy's never seen Rudy.
Weirdly, it's so weird that I've never seen it, but I've never seen it.
I feel like this movie was ubiquitous.
Yeah, well, it was,
Yeah.
and I bet you that's probably why I avoided it.
You're like, no.
I was deliberately like, I'm not going to see Rudy because everybody else has seen Rudy and everybody else is talking about it. I did the same thing with Seinfeld and some other stuff around that.
Yeah.
Of course, I think Seinfeld was out at that point. It was 1993. So yeah, I was like, I don't want to watch Seinfeld because everybody else does it and I'm not going to be like everybody else. So that's probably my thinking, or was my thinking back then.
All right. So let's get into that. So you've never seen Rudy before. So
Right.
tell me what you thought about Rudy beforehand, and were you going to carry Rudy off the field, or do you want to tackle him?
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, I know the story of this movie, even though I'd never seen it. I know who Rudy was. I'm sure at some point I read about his life and about his, wanting to go to Notre Dame and play for the Fighting Irish and all that stuff. I knew that it carried him off the field, and that, I basically knew all the particulars of his story or whatever, but I'd never seen it. But I thought this movie was good. I mean, it's interesting to me because I thought it was going to be much more of a sports movie. Mm-hmm. But honestly, you do see them playing football, but it takes them probably a good hour before he actually is able to get onto the team.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie before that is him working in the mill, trying to go to college, going to Holy Cross, meeting Jon Favreau, finding out he has dyslexia, working with Charles S. Dutton's character, being out on the field and stuff. But you don't see a lot of football action until much, much later in the movie. And, sports movies, typically it's like, is the underdog team going to beat the big team? Or is Rocky going to beat Ivan Drago or whatever? Very rarely do you have, like, this is a sports movie where that's not really the whole goal of the movie. It's like, oh, is Notre Dame going to beat this other team? It's just, hey, is he going to be able to get on? And I mean, he's going to get on the team eventually. At least I hope you do. You know he's going to get on the team.
If you didn't know, surprise!
But the movie, the movie is a sports movie, sure, but it's more a movie with a message about perseverance and about never giving up on your dreams, basically. Not, is Notre Dame going to win the big game on Saturday or whatever, something like that. So I thought it's interesting for that reason. It kind of goes a different route than other sports movies. But I thought it was good. I thought Sean Astin is good as Rudy.
He does look small, though, in this movie.
You feel his, he does, but that would be funny. They made him look like, if they made him look like Samwise, like standing next to Ian McKellen or something like that. But no, yeah, sure. He is a little smaller, height challenged or whatever, but I thought he was good. He plays a nice, affable character. Yeah. He just wants to play football, damn it, for his favorite team and his entire family's favorite team. And he wants to do it for his buddy Pete, who gets blown up in the mill.
This is a little melodramatic.
It was very melodramatic, and I loved it because Pete, and I bolded it in my notes, Pete is played by the same guy that was Friedrich, the Eurotrash guy, in Kicking and Screaming. I swear, this guy is
full circle.
This guy has not made very many movies at all. In fact, this is the only other movie I've seen. His name is Christopher Reed. This is the only other movie I've seen him in. But I was like, I know that guy. It's Friedrich from Kicking and Screaming. And then he went, boom.
Did this make you like the movie more?
I did. The movie instantly went up a few notches just because of that. Because the Eurotrash was in the, because that's what they call him in
Kicking and Screaming.
Kicking and Screaming. They refer to
our
him as,
most viewed episode.
They're like, Friedrich, that Eurotrash guy? Yeah, and he's got the trench coat that he puts around the girl or whatever when they're on the dance floor. You mentioned that being really icky.
Creepy.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I liked it. The rest of the cast, Ned Beatty plays his father. Jon Favreau plays D-Bob. Jason Miller is first coach Parsagian. Jason Miller was in The Exorcist as Father Damien Karras. And then, of course, you got Charles S. Dutton plays Fortune, was his name?
Fortune, yep.
And then Chelsea Ross plays the coach that comes in later, Dan Devine. And I mentioned Charles S. Dutton and Chelsea Ross because they're both in the movie we're going to talk about on Wednesday. That's right. And then finally, Lily Taylor is his fiance.
And then his first girlfriend we saw in Mystic Pizza.
Yeah, Lily Taylor.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the second girl, I thought her character was odd. She doesn't really do anything in the movie.
No, she doesn't. She's just kind of there to have a love story, but it doesn't really.
There's no love story. He meets her so that he can tell her, "I want to be on the football team," and then later on he sees her on the sideline and goes, "Hey, don't I know you?" And I was like, "That was the payoff for that setup for that." I actually felt that if there's one complaint I had about the movie, and I wrote it down, there's so many supporting characters. It's like a revolving door of supporting characters, and I don't feel like I feel like half of them are superfluous. Like you don't really need them. I would argue that you don't even need Jon Favreau's character. Like,
he tutors him a little bit.
I feel like, he helps him, and he helps him discover that he has dyslexia. But I feel like he was just stuck in there because you don't want to have Rudy go to school and Rudy's only friend is Charles S. Dutton. Like you want him to have like a buddy. Yeah. So they put Jon Favreau in there, but I don't feel like Jon Favreau really contributes anything.
And
honestly,
Vince Vaughn's in this movie.
Vince Vaughn is in it, for a little bit. Yeah,
you're
short.
so money.
I wrote down his quote. He's just a showboat man. That's all he's about. Vince Vaughn starts off not liking Rudy, but then later on, when they're in the game, he's like, "Hey, we got to get Rudy in the game." I'm like, why did he have a change of heart?
Rudy's trying too hard. They understood. They saw his passion, and they wanted him.
Yeah.
So I've read that even Daniel Ruettiger said that this movie's probably about 90% true.
Okay.
The famous Jersey scene never happened. There's a lot of characters that are merged together. Like Fortune's like an amalgamation of like 3 different people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting. Rudy has 13 siblings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's not much to do in that little town besides work in the steel mill and go home and
keep yourself
have
warm.
Some fun. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I remember watching this movie pretty close when it came out, like renting it on video and stuff like that. And I really like the movie. Like it's a nice, like, empowering kind of movie. Yeah. Like it's an uplifting kind of movie.
Yeah.
And I still like it this time. I did find Rudy like really annoying kind of at the beginning. Like he has that tenacity, but it's kind of like, dude, get a clue. did a clue a little bit for me. Like it was slightly annoying this time. His tenacity was a little bit annoying, but it's just part of making the movie. I think the thing that sells this movie and the thing that outlasts this whole movie is Jerry Goldsmith's score.
Yeah, I wrote down
that score is amazing. That's one of the best scores ever created. It is just so uplifting. It's perfectly encapsulates like your emotions for the movie, and I think this score helps carry a lot of this movie. Like the movie's good, but the score just makes the movie that much better. It is amazing. I think it was nominated for a best score, but it didn't win that year. It should have. I don't know what it was nominated against, but I don't know any other movies in 1993 where I'm like their score is awesome. I mean, John Williams did Jurassic Park, but that's 94, right? It's not 93.
No, it's 93.
Oh well.
Also did Schindler's List in 1993. Both.
Oh yeah, well, okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong with that.
You can't beat two scores from John Williams. It's just not possible.
Yeah, you can't. No.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the movie a whole lot. I'm glad you like the movie. I was kind of nervous because there is it kind of wears its heart on its sleeve. It's like a very earnest movie, and it's hard, like now in 2020 to kind of like these kind of earnest movies. Like we kind of were a little bit more critical on things like that and stuff like that. But I do think it's a nice, telling, uplifting story. Don't read Rudy's Wikipedia article if you want to feel uplifted. Apparently, he got in trouble with the SEC a few years ago.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that's not as uplifting, but
So going along with my one kind of main criticism of the movie, in that there's so many supporting characters that I feel like don't add anything to the movie. I feel like Lily Taylor's completely wasted. The girl that's his girlfriend at first, and then he's like, "Oh, well, I got to go do this,"
she
and
marries his brother.
But they don't ever really deal with that. He just kind of goes home. He sees her with his brother. And
I think she marries his brother.
Yeah, well, and he just kind of walks out, but they don't have any kind of conversation. Yeah. It's like they just completely gloss over that. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more of that, but again, I mean, that's fine. The meat and potatoes of this movie is obviously him persevering at Notre Dame and sleeping in the maintenance room and all that kind of stuff that he does.
I don't know anything about that key.
Yeah, right. I do like they do a slow clap in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, they put the slow clap in there when he comes. He's determined to leave practice or leave the team, and he gets a talking to first from his other buddy who. Again, is another guy that is there to tell him, hey, man, you can't quit. And then from Fortune's characters, like, hey, I used to play football in Notre Dame, and I regret doing this, that, and the other thing. And so he's like, he goes back, and then they're like,
yep,
slow clap and whatever. But yes, and then the crowd chants Rudy. To get him onto the field. I wanted the announcer to be like, what are they chanting? Cooties? What are they chanting there? I don't know what that is. Cooties. Why would they be chanting cooties?
Yeah.
But no, it's a good movie.
I wonder if they chanted Rudy in real life.
Probably not.
Apparently,
probably movie only.
Apparently, Dan Devine was gonna put him on the game.
It was his idea.
Yeah.
In the movie, they kind of make him out to be the villain. But apparently, in real life, I did read that. Yeah, he did. He was like, yeah, well, it's his last year, the last game. We'll put him in so that he can be officially counted on the roster or whatever. So yeah, but in the movie, he's like, no.
Yeah,
because he takes over for Coach Parsagian, who was originally going to do it.
He said he was going to do it.
Yeah,
maybe he only said it because he knew he was leaving.
Well, Parsagian, I think he had to leave to go get the devil out of Linda Blair. He had to exorcise Linda Blair.
So I was going to say
way before this movie. Sorry.
In 2005, Rudy was named one of the best 25 sports movies of the 25 years in 2 polls by ESPN. It made 24 by the panel of sports experts. But the viewers or the users of ESPN.com voted it number 4.
So it was number 24 by the sports experts panel. Yeah. I wonder what number 25 was. I wonder what the movie was that it beat. We'll have to look that up.
We'll have to look that up. I did look at that list earlier.
It's like it's better than this one movie.
It might be the James Caan Brian song movie.
Oh no, surely that's got to be way higher.
You think so?
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
I would think that'd be like in the top 10 easily, or top 5.
And also, it's ranked 54th most inspiring movie of all time in AFI's 100 Years series. So it's we're not alone in liking this movie.
No, No, I mean, yeah, this is a definite crowd pleasing kind of movie.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever met anybody that I know that has seen this movie that's like, I hate Rudy, it sucks.
Wow. I dated a girl who went to. I don't think she went to Notre Dame. I think she went to like Holy Cross, and she was against Rudy.
Well, it's just because she was sick of hearing about it.
Maybe, I don't know, because I would obviously antagonize her with it because I'm a nice, wonderful, caring person like that, and she would hate everything about it. She because I guess maybe like the first time she mentions Holy Cross, everyone's like, or mentions like is it in Bend, Indiana, or wherever that's located. People automatically think of Rudy, and she's probably like, no. But yeah, I'm with you. 99% of the people are on the Rudy train.
So that one girl, was like,
I
hate Rudy.
She hated it so much.
Stop talking about Rudy. All right, 78% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, which seems that's the critics, so I guess that's not 90% audience score.
Yeah.
Seems about right. 2 thumbs up from Siskel and Ebert, which they both were like, well, this is predictable, but it's still good. And I was like, I mean, it's a sports movie. They're all kind of predictable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some of them don't go the way you think they would go, but for the most part, they do. And then Leonard Maltin gives it 3 stars once again.
All right. Well, that was our review on Rudy. If you feel the same or different, let us know. Leave us a comment below if you're watching us on YouTube, or shoot us an email, realshame@gmail.com. I didn't talk about, so to follow up Rudy.
Oh, yes.
I always
forget that.
No, it's fine. I wanted to choose another kind of underdogs sports movie, not underdog in a team, but someone who, through work and determination made something of themselves. And I found a movie that came out in 2007, I think. 8. And it also has Charles S. Hutton in it. And that's The Express. It's a movie that Choo-choo. It's a movie that I don't remember ever coming out. I don't remember hearing anything about it, but it seemed a pretty good movie to pair with this one. So that's what we're going to watch on Wednesday, The Express. All right. And so on those Wednesday episodes, we answer viewers' questions that are sent to us through our email address, which is realshame@gmail.com. Follow us on social media @realshame. Like, subscribe, share, do all that kind of stuff, because that really does help the podcast and the show, and we do appreciate that so much. And we will see you Wednesday when we jump aboard The Express. We'll see you soon, guys.